I signed up because I wanted to be where I could make the biggest difference. I had no idea that my life would be impacted so much by war. After I lost my arm and wasn't sure how my legs were going to recover, and it really opened up my eyes that there was a lot of warriors going through similar situations.
I knew the possibilities of what could happen to me because I signed up in wartime. I wanted to go fight the enemy that planned 9/11 or was behind 9/11. The only two ways I wanted to come home from that deployment was with my brothers or in a casket. When I woke up from a coma 3 weeks later after my injuries, is that here I am laying in a bed with no legs and no vision. You know, you only see this stuff on TV, but you never imagine it happening to you.
After 9/11, I wanted to get involved, and I didn't really know what to do. And finally, I realized that knowing a lot of college basketball coaches may be an answer. So myself and some friends, we took college basketball coaches over to the Middle East, put on a program called Operation Heart. The USO asked me if I'd do a few sports-related initiatives for them. One of the initiatives that I started was Operation Links. So at Thanksgiving, we took PGA Tour players to Iraq and ultimately to Afghanistan. Tom Watson was on the trip and he said, we should take David Feherty with us. I'd seen him on TV and he's a pretty funny guy, and I said, yeah, that'll be great.
I had been on a USO trip to Iraq. I came back blown away, needing to do two things. One was to be more involved in maybe helping these kids when they come home. I also needed to be an American because I was an Irish citizen until that point, and that flipped the switch for me. And Rick said that he was going to start a foundation.
We were sitting in a place called Korean Village, a little fob near the Syrian border, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning, and nobody was sleeping. And he looked at me and he said, what do you actually do? I said, well, I spent a lot of time at Walter Reed. I'm trying to figure out what these guys and their families are going through, and is there anything I can put together and help with, and I think I'm going to start a foundation. I reached in my rucksack, handed him these notes, and he read them, and he said,
I'm in, and that's it's as simple as that.
And that takes us to the pillars of Troops First that David and I developed very early on as we set out.
One of the things that we try to make sure is we don't let them down. If we make a promise, we keep it. We're honest with them. If we can't do something for them, then we're going to say, look, we can't do that, but here's what we can do.
If you do get involved and you're invited in and you have that opportunity, you got to work like hell to make it better. You can't just leave it the same. You got to improve the situation. And the third thing is it's not about you. It's not about me. It's not about anybody else. It's about the warrior and the warrior's family. If you have an ego and you bring that with you, you're there for all the wrong reasons.
I spent 3 years at Walter Reed. So
everybody in the military talks about lessons learned.
Two of us ended up losing both legs.
Operation Proper Exit, where we take the warriors back to the battle space, gives them an opportunity to find some measure of closure. They've been through some extreme situations. Nobody has better lessons learned.
When I first heard about Proper Exit, it was really in a negative sense. They couldn't get it approved in Washington. In fact, that the doctors were the ones who were kind of standing in the way of allowing this to happen. I really thought about it for a while, and of course, with my son being a wounded warrior as well, I actually talked to him about it, and he thought it was a terrific idea. I called back to Washington and I said, what are we doing here? This is a great initiative. The final thing was coming back to me and saying that I would approve allowing them to come into theater, and of course I would do that, and that was the beginning of Proper Exit. When the first group came over and I saw how tentative they were when they first came back to Iraq, when I saw them at the end, I realized what an impact it had had on them. A lot of them went back to the places they were wounded, and they had a chance to interact with the soldiers. It was incredible the impact that had on them and how it motivated them, and the fact that they were back there now and willing to come back, and maybe that their sacrifices weren't in vain, and they had a chance to share this with those on the ground. With the time I served in command, 3 different commands in Iraq, I saw the sacrifice of our young men and women. And anything that I could do to help them, anything that I could do to help them get closure, anything I could do to help them to make themselves more productive in their lives was very important to me. People don't understand the sacrifice and the brotherhood that's over there and what they go through, and it's always about doing what's right for them. It's always about doing something that makes them understand how much we care.
Operation Warrior Call is one of the initiatives that Troops First has that basically is a connectivity tool that reaches out to them and finds them in their living room of middle of Idaho or the woods of Georgia, and it gets that to know them where they're at and say, hey, how are you doing? What can I do to help you? Some days are great, some days are tough, and it's at those times I tell a lot of people you need to reach out to find those folks that are isolated and that are having either suicidal thoughts or depression or just struggling with some daily life challenges that seem that they could be heavier after you've already faced a burden of being injured or having post-traumatic stress, and telling them that we're there for them and finding out what their needs are and being honest with them and just giving a call to one person that we know we've served with or that we know that is still serving, and check on their welfare and get them the help they need if they need it. The Leroy Petrie Village of Honor is very big, beautiful homes that are designed as transitioning homes for wounded service members that are transitioning out of the military that have ongoing care within close proximity of Walter Reed.
We have warrior families living there after a battlefield injury for up to 2 years where they can reset. We think that transitional period is critical. What we'd like to take off the table in that situation is having to look for a house, find a good home for kids, a home that has near good schools and other things, and then they can focus on healing and moving forward. All the while we encourage them to stay in touch with others. And if there's other people that need help with dogs or other things, it's all interconnected.
It's like having a battle buddy out there that you're looking out for 24/7. That's literally the name of it. I've got to watch out for her. I've got to take care of her. We're just constantly a team out there maneuvering in society. When you talk with Rick Kell at first about these dogs, he wants to get to know where the veteran's at mentally and physically, and seeing if they're actually ready to take on these type of dogs. Because the goal is to be with the dog 24/7. It adds an extra step to my life. Just something else to think about for the day, besides the focus just being on myself. And honestly, at the end of it all, it just got me more comfortable being out in public and doing things. It got me slowed down and more balanced.
What's interesting, if you look at all four together, the synergy with regard to the dogs living in a good house, a stable environment, having a battle buddy that can help you with some daily situations. And then Warrior Call, of course, is stay in touch with your buddies. Make sure they're doing okay. Are they raising their hand if they need help? Operation Proper Exit gives them another opportunity to be part of the brotherhood and share their experiences. And we've built some houses. It's all interconnected.
I'm grateful for Rick and David Feherty and what they've done throughout the years, what I've witnessed, what I've been a part of.
Troops First Foundation has given me the whole trip back to Iraq and then the trip to Afghanistan has given me kind of like a relief, a closure trip, to walk away from something that took so much from me, to return to a location that, I was honestly kind of scared to go back to. But they gave me that sense of purpose, because when I went back to Iraq, I feel like I picked up the other half of me that I left over there. And Operation Proper Exit helped me do that in Troops First Foundation, because they helped me realize that I will forever be a Marine and I can continue sharing my story outside of uniform.
Rick Kell's not gonna just kind of drag you through and constantly put you in the spotlight. He's gonna get to know you as an individual. He just lets us honestly be us. Kind of got a deeper respect for us as individuals.
Troops First Foundation has provided our soldiers an opportunity for closure. It has provided them an opportunity to go back and visit the battlefields they were on. It also provides them a way to understand they can still be involved with each other. The fact that an organization like Troops First, they continue to understand the importance of having this. It's about all the people they've touched. It's about celebrating those who served, those who sacrificed, and also celebrating those who gave in different ways, such as Rick, Cal, and David, who gave of themselves in their own way.
The next 10, I hope that we continue to raise the sort of money that ensures that we can continue, keep taking them back on proper exit, keep them in touch with Warrior Call, providing service dogs and the other things that we do.
We're going to beat the hell out of the drum this year. We're not just going to beat the drum, we're going to beat the hell out of the drum. Warrior Call is going to roll out next year in a bigger way. The plan is to conduct at least 35 town hall meetings across the country at different military bases with warriors that we've had on proper exit that know how important it is to stay in touch.
Strengthen our communication by warriors connecting with warriors. Make the call, answer the call, and have honest dialogue. I took the pledge at warriorcall.org.
Just the beginning. There's a lot of work to be done.